Hello, I'm Landon Schlungen, and today we're going to go through the CSS portion of FreeCodeCamp. So we're going to start this project. We did the HTML last time, now we're going through the CSS. All right, let's start coding. We're going to create this. Camper Cafe, coffee, desserts, and it looks pretty good. So let's start this. Add doctype HTML. Doctype HTML here, and add an HTML element with a lang attribute of n. So we need an HTML element in here as well. HTML with a lang attribute of n. I think that's good. Yay, let's go. All right, add a head element within the HTML element. So we'll add a head here so that you can add a title element. Okay. So inside the head, we would need a title. So we're going to add a title, and the title should be cafe menu. It's pretty easy. There we go. Let's try that. Yippee! The title is one of the several elements that provide extra information not visible on a web page, but it's useful for search engines or how the page gets displayed. Inside the head element, nest a meta element with an attribute named charset. Nest a meta element. All right, so I need meta with an attribute named charset set to UTF-8. All right. But that meta elements are self-closing. All right, that's good. Nice. Ask me later. To prepare to create some actual content, add a body element below the head element. All right, yep. Add a body. Pretty easy. There we go. It should be good. Nice. The name of the cafe is Camper Cafe. Add a h1 element within your body tag. h1 with Camper Cafe. And give it the name in capitalized letters to make it stand out. Okay. Camper Cafe /h1. It should be good. Let's check it. It does not pass because I probably don't need a space here. Yeah, there we go. All right, I wonder if we can zoom in at all. I'm gonna try zooming in. Oh my gosh. You guys like that? I wonder if I can get rid of this top bar as well. That maybe not. Okay, whatever. All right, to let visitors know the cafe was founded in 2020, add a P element below the H1 element with a text estimate 2020. Add a P element below here with the text est 2020. And we'll close that P tag up. Should be good. Yay. All right, since the P element added in the previous step provides supplemental information about the cafe, nest both the H1 and P elements in a header element. Okay, so we just need to wrap a header element around this stuff. Not too shabby. All right, let's try that. Yep, yay. All right, it's time to add some menu content. Add a main element below the existing header element. All right, so below the whole header element, we need a main element. All right. So that's good. Yippee. All right, there will be two sections on the menu, one for coffees and one for desserts. Add a section element within the main element. All right, so section here, /section. Okay, that should be fine. Nice. Create an H2 element in the section element and give it the text coffee. H2 coffee. And the H2 tag, and that should be good. Yippee. All right, up until now, you have been limited regarding the presentation and appearance of the content you create. To start taking control, add a style element within the head element. Alrighty. Now we're going to actually style this thing. Not head, we need a style. And I think we just need that for right now. Oh, sorry. No, it needs a closing style. Okay, I guess. There. Happy now? Yippee. You can add a style to an element by specifying it in the style element and setting a property for it like this. Element property value. Center your H1 element by setting its text line property to the value center. Oh, I see. We're putting this in the style tag. Oh, it's not a link. Whoops, that's my bad. All right, we want H1. Select the H1 element, and then we need text align of center. Line of center. Center. There we go. Hey, it centered it. Nice. All right. In the previous step, you used a type selector to style the H1 element. Go ahead and center the H2 and P elements with a new type selector for each one. Can I do this? Will it allow me? No, darn it. So I need each one of these. So let's see here. Alt Shift down. Nice. We'll copy those down. And then I need H2 and the P element. I think that's good. Yippee, there we go. You now have 3 type selectors with the exact same styling. You can add the same group of styles to many elements by creating a list of selectors. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Burn it, you piece of crap. H1, H2, and P. Whoops. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's what I wanted to do in the first place. You have styled 3 elements by writing CSS inside the style tags. This works, but since will be many more styles, it's best to put all the styles in a separate file linked to it. All right, we have created a separate styles.css file for you and switch the editor view to that file. You can change between files with tabs, so like that. And okay, yeah, get rid of that one. All right. Start by reviewing the styles you have created into the styles that rewriting. Make sure to exclude the opening and closing tags. So rewrite this. Can I just copy this? Is that okay? Is that okay? Let's try that. Yay! All right, now that you have the CSS in the styles.css file, go ahead and remove the style element and all its content. All right. And once it's removed, the text will be back to the left. Spam risk. All right, let's go. Now you need to link the styles.css page. So we need a link here with a rel equal to style sheet and a href equal to ./style.css, and that should be good. Let's try that. Yay! It works. For the styling of the page to look similar on mobile as it does on desktop or laptop, you need to add a meta element with a special content attribute. Add the following within the head element. Right, we will add that so that it works on mobile screens, I believe. Oh gosh, that was ugly. Wait, what did I do here? I need this. Give me this. Copy. Add the following to the head element. Yes, I did, right? Paste. Oh, there we go. Nice. All right, the text is centered again, so the link to the CSS file is working. Add another style to the file that changes the background color property to brown and brown for the body element. All right. So we need to add body here, and we want background color of brown. All right, sweet. That brown background makes it hard to read the text. Change the body element's background color to burly wood, so it has some color, but you're still able to read the text. Burly wood. Oh, interesting. That's pretty neat. The div element is used mainly for design layout purposes. Unlike the other content elements you have used so far, add a div element inside the body element and then move all the other elements inside the new div. All right, inside the body, we need a div around everything. I wish this stuff worked. Okay, slash div, like that. Is that what they wanted? Yay, okay. The goal now is to make the div not take up the entire width of the page. The CSS width property is perfect for this. Create a new type selector in the style sheet that gives your div element a width of 300 pixels. All right, so div of width of 300 pixels. Is that what they want? Like that? Is that good? Okay, I guess so. Comments in CSS look like this. Oh. Okay, in your style sheet, comment out the line containing the background color property value. Okay, so I can do Control / and that will comment that out. That's a really nice shortcut. And okay, that's awesome. All right, now use the existing div selector to set the background color of the div element to be Burlywood. Okay, so we want this to be Burlywood. Whoops, I need background color here of Burlywood. All right, there we go. Now it's easy to see that text is centered inside the div element. Currently, the width of the div element is specified in pixels. Change the width property's value to be 80% to make it 80% the width of its parent element. All right, so we want this to be 80%. And now it takes up 80% of the width of this body page. Sweet. Next, you want to center the div horizontally. You can do this by setting its margin left and margin right properties to auto. Or we can just do margin. Yeah, margin left, auto, margin right, auto. Think of margin as invisible space around an element using these two margin properties center the div element within the body element. So now it is centered. That's pretty awesome. I should be able to just do margin auto as well. So far, you have been using type selectors to style elements. A class selector is defined by name with a dot directly in front of it like this. Change the existing div selector into a class selector by replacing div with a class named menu. Change the existing div selector into a class selector by changing this with dot menu. I think if that's what they want. So now I just got to add that class to this div. All right, so we just need class equals menu, and now they're connected up, and we have the styles back where they were. All right, since the cafe's main product is for sales coffee, you could use an image of coffee beans for the background of the page. Delete the comment and its contents inside the body to now add background image property with this. All right, so background image with URL of this CSS cafe beans. Let's do that. Hey, it looks pretty nice now. That's a cool background. It's looking good. Time to start adding some menu items. Add an empty article element under the coffee heading. It will contain a flavor and price of each coffee you currently offer. All right, so we need an empty article. Article. Tag here. Should be good. Nice, all right. Article elements commonly contain multiple elements that have related information. In this case, it will contain a coffee flavor and a price of the flavor. All right, article is just like div, it's just semantics. Next, nest two p elements inside of here. P, shift down, copy. And then we need, what, French vanilla? Vanilla, and the second text is 3.00, like so. Oh, it does not pass. The first one's text should be French vanilla because I spelt it wrong. French vanilla, like that. Yippee. Starting below the existing coffee price pair, add the following coffee and prices using article elements with two nested p elements inside each. As before, the first p element's text should contain the coffee flavor and the second p element's text should contain the price. Add the following coffee using article elements within two nested. Okay, so I just need to add 4 more of these. Is that okay? Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I need caramel macchiato for this one. Oh man, this is gonna take forever. Pumpkin spice here. We need hazelnuts here. And we need mocha right here. And then we need the prices, so $3.75, $3.50, $4. Well, I don't know if it's dollars, but I'm guessing $4.50 here. All right, let's try that. Yippee! Beautiful. The flavors and prices are currently stacked on top of each other and centered with their respective p elements. It would be nice if the flavor was on the left and the price was on the right. Add the class name flavor to the French vanilla p element. All right, class equals flavor. Yippee. Using new flavor class as a selector, set the text line property value to left. All right, so we need dot flavor to select it, and then we need text line of left. Nice. All right, so now right now it looks pretty bad. Next, you want to align the price to the right, add a class name price to your p element that has a 3.0 as its text. All right, class equals price. I feel like there's way easier ways to do this, but I guess this is fine. Now align the text to the right for the elements with the price class. All right, so price, and we need text align right. Line of right. They're still going to be stacked though. Okay, whatever. This is kind of what you want, but now it would be nice if the flavor and price were on the same line. P elements are block level elements, so they take up the entire width of their parent element. To get them on the same line, you need to apply some styling to the P elements so they behave more like inline elements. Add a class add a class attribute with the value item to the first article element under the coffee heading. Yeah, so we need them to be inline elements. Add a class attribute with the value item. Add a class attribute with the value item to the first article element under the coffee heading. So we need a class of item here. That's what they want. All right, nice. The P elements are nested in an article element with the class attribute of item. You can style all the P elements nested anywhere in elements with a class named item like this. Using the above selector, add a display property with value inline block. Yes, that's what we need. Okay, so we need .item P. So we select the class of item and then all that's under them, the P elements that are underneath that class. We need display of block or inline block. And now they should be on one line. Nice. Okay. Cool. That's closer, but the price didn't stay over on the right. This is because inline block elements only take up the width of their content. Spread them out, add a width property to the flavor and price class selectors that have a value of 50% each. All right, so we need width 50% here and a width of 50% on this one. I believe that's what they want. Okay. Now it looks like the same almost. Well, that did not work. Styling P elements as inline block and placing them on separate lines in the code creates an extra space to the right of the first P element, causing the second one to shift to the next line. One way to fix this is to make each P element's width a little less than 50%. Change the width value to 49%. Oh, okay. So we just need them to be 49%, and then it'll... Oh my gosh. They're doing this like way weird. If I were to do this, I would do it a lot differently, but yeah, whatever. I guess we're just learning this for now. That worked, but there's still a little space on the right of the price. You could keep trying various percentages for the widths. Instead, simply move the price P element to be on the same line and make sure there's no space between them. Wait, Simply move the price P element to be on the same line. Make sure there's no space between them. Instead, simply move the price P element to be on the same line. What? So just do this? That's what you want me to do. What? Okay. Now go ahead and change both the flavor and price class widths to be 50% again. Okay, this is really weird. Okay, 50%. Do Control D to select both at once. Literally, we're changing like nothing. This is weird. Now that you know it works, you can change the remaining article and P elements to match the first set. Start by adding the class item to the other article elements. All right, so Alt to have more than one cursor. And then we want class equaling item on these. All right, that's beautiful. Next, position the other P elements to be on the same line with no space between them. All right, so we just do this. This is so dumb. Whatever. Okay, beautiful. Is that good? Yay. All right, to complete the styling, add the applicable class names, flavor, and price to all the remaining P elements. Oh my gosh, this is so dumb. Okay, alt. We need class equaling flavor and class equaling price on these guys. These ones. Class equals price. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty now. If you make the width of the page preview smaller, you will notice at some point some of the text on the left starts wrapping around to the next line. This is because the width of the P element's on the left side. So if I make this smaller, then it will wrap. Okay. Since you know the prices on the right have significantly fewer characters, change the flavor class width value to be 75% of the, and the price class width value to be 25%. Okay, so we need flavor to be 75% and price to be 25%. Okay. You'll come back to styling the menu in a few steps, but for now, go ahead and add a second section element below the first for displaying the desserts offered by the cafes. So we just need another section element here. Section should be good. B. Add an H2 element in the new section. Give it a desserts thing. So we need desserts, content, and close up that H2. Should be good. Add an empty article element under the desserts heading. Okay, article. Done this before. Article. Give it a class attribute with the value of item. Class equals item. All right, nice. Nest two P elements inside your article element. All right, so we need two P's here. I'll shift down. We need the first one's text should be donut, and the second one should be 150. Put them both on the same line. Okay, yeah. There we go. For the two P elements, you just add dessert as the value of the first P element's class attribute and the value price as the second P element's class attribute. Okay, so we need classes on these. So class equals, we need dessert, and we need price. And nice, all right. Something does not look right. You added the correct class attribute value to the P element with donut as its text, but you have not defined a selector for it. Since the flavor class selector already has the properties you want, just add dessert class name to it. All right, so we just need to add dot dessert here. And that should fix it. Nice. Below the dessert you just add the rest of the desserts and prices using 3 more article elements, each with 2 nested P elements. Each element should have the correct dessert and price text, and all of them should have the correct classes. All right, so we just need a bunch more of these. We need cherry pie, cheesecake, and cinnamon roll. Cinnamon roll. Oops. I hit caps locks. Whoops. And we need 275, 3, and 250. Is that good? Good enough? Yay, alright. You can give your menu some space between the content and the sides with various padding properties. Give the menu class a padding left and a padding right with the same value of 20 pixels. Alright, so padding, we want 0 and 20 pixels, like that. Let's see if that works. Hey, it actually does work. So yeah, 0, that's on the y-axis, 20 would be on the x-axis, so on the left and the right. That looks better. Now try to add the same 20 pixels padding to the top and bottom of the view. Oh gosh. Seriously. They can just do padding of 20 pixels. They're probably going to say that soon though. Padding top of 20 pixels and padding bottom of 20 pixels. All right, beautiful. Padding makes everything look way nicer. Since all 4 sides of the menu have the same internal spacings, go ahead and delete the 4 properties and use a single padding property. Yes, that's what we want to do. Yes, get rid of these and just tap padding. It's the same thing. Nice. How many more of these do we have? We have to go up to 92. Oh my gosh. Step 57. The current width of the menu will always take up 80% of the body element's width. On a very wide screen, the coffee and dessert appear far apart from their prices. Add a max width property to the menu class, so it's 500 pixels, so that it will not exceed that. All right, so max width of 500 pixels. So that's when we make this bigger, then it won't get bigger than that. All right, nice. Wait, oh, there we go. All right, you can change the font family of text to make it look different from the default font of your browser. Each browser has some common fonts available to it. Change all the text in your body by adding a font family property with the value sans serif. That is fairly common. Font that is very readable. All right, font family of sans serif. All right, I think that works. Oh, no apostrophes or quotes. No quotes. It's a bit boring for all the text to have the same font family. You can still have the majority of the text sans serif and make just the H1 and H2 elements different using a different selector. Style both H1 H2 so that these elements have impact font. All right, H1, H2, we need font family of impact. Family of impact. All right, cool. You can add a fallback value for the font family by adding another font name separate by a comma. Fallbacks are used in instances where the initial is not found or available. Add the fallback font serif after the impact font. All right, serif. All right, nothing will change because its impact is available. Make the estimate 2020 text italicized by creating an established class selector and giving it a font style of italics. So established, and we need font style of italic. All right. That does not established. There we go. Now we need to add that to this part of it. Class equals established. All right, now it's italicized. All right. The typography of heading elements H1, H2 is set by default values of user browsers. Add two new type selectors H1 and H2. Use the font size property for both. The heck, I keep adding these. Okay, font size. Use 40 pixels. Oh, never mind. They have to be separate. H1 will be 40 pixels and H2 will be a font size of 30 pixels. Like so. All right. Add a footer element below the main element where you can add some additional information. Okay, so we just need a footer down here. Again, just like a div, it's just semantics. Inside the footer, add a P element. Then that's an anchor element in the P that links to there. Okay, so we need a P element with visit our website. And this has to be wrapped in an anchor tag. So we need anchor here. This has to be the ending anchor tag, and it needs an href on it equal to this website, which is FreeCodeCamp. And that should be good. There's our beautiful link. Add a second P element below the one with the link and give it the text FreeCodeCamp drive. Alt Shift down. Get rid of the A tag. We just need 1, 2, 3 free code camp drive for an address, I suppose. There it is. Nice. Check that. Nice. You can use an HR element to display a divider between sections of different content. First, add an HR element between the first header element and the main element. All right, so we need an HR here. Now the HR elements are self-closing. All right, so there's our beautiful line. Here we go. Check code. Nice. The default properties of an HR element will make it appear as a thin light gray line. You can change the height of the line by specifying a value for the height property. Change the height of the HR element to be 3 pixels. All right, so we just need height of 3 pixels. Beautiful. Change the background color to brown. Background color to brown. Matches the colors of the coffee beans. Notice the gray color along the edges of the line. Those edges are known as borders. Each side of an element can have a different color, or they can all be the same. Make all the edges of the HR element the same color as background color by using border color. Border color of brown. Oops, brown. Sweet. Notice how the thickness of the line looks bigger. The default value of a property named border width is 1 pixel for all edges of HR elements. By changing the border to the same color background, the total height of the line is 5 pixels. Change the height property of the HR to be 2 pixels so that it's actually 4 pixels in height. All right, that's easy enough. Go ahead and add another H element between the main and the footer elements. Main and footer, we need another HR here. And so now there's another line. Sweet. To create a little more room around the menu, add 20 pixels of space on the inside of the body by using the padding property. Padding of 20 pixels. That should make it look a lot nicer. Yep. Looks good. Focusing on the menu items and prices, there is a fairly large gap between each line. Focusing on the menu items. Okay. Target all the P elements nested in elements with a class named item and set their top and bottom margins to be 5 pixels. Target all P elements. Okay, so we need this one and set their top and bottom margins to be 5 pixels. So we have a margin of 5 pixels and 0. Let's try that. Okay, it's cool. And it works. All right, using the same style selector in the previous step, make the font size of the items and prices larger by using a value of 18 pixels. Make the font size larger. Okay, so font size of 18 pixels. Beautiful, nice. Text got a little bit bigger. Changing the margin bottom to 5 pixels looks great. However, now the space between the cinnamon roll menu item and the second HR element does not match the space between the top HR element and the coffee heading. Add some more space by creating a class named bottom line using 25 pixels for the margin top property. So we need bottom line, and it needs to have a margin top of 25 pixels. Okay, sure. And we got to add this class to here. Yep. Class of bottom line. So now they're connected up and there should be the right spacing there now. Next, you're going to be styling the footer element. To keep the CSS organized, add a comment at the end of the styles with the text footer. All right, control/footer. Beautiful. Moving down to the footer element, make all the text have a value of 14 pixels for the font size. So footer, we need a font size of 14 pixels. All right. The default color of a link that has not yet been clicked on is typically blue. The default color of a link that has already been visited from a page is typically purple. Make the footer links the same color regardless. If a link has been visited, use a type selector for the anchor element and use the value black for the color property. So, okay, we need a color of black. This might not be right. Oh, actually it is. Sweet. All right. You change properties of a link when the link has actually been visited by using a pseudo selector that looks like a visited. Change the color of the value visit our website link to be gray when a user has visited the link. All right, so we need a when it's visited. We need the color to change to gray. Easy enough. All right, so it's gray because I visited, I guess. You change properties of a link when the mouse hovers over them by using a pseudo selector. So a hover, so that's when we hover. Change the color to be brown when a user hovers over it. So we need a of hover. We need of color of brown. So now when I hover over it, it will be brown. So that's Really cool. Do that a lot with buttons. All right, you change properties of a link when the link is actually being clicked on. So that's with active. So that's when I'm actually clicking on it. It will change to white. All right, so we need A of active. And when we are clicking it, we want it to be a color of white. All right, so now if I go down here and click it, see how it turns white. Next. To keep with the same color theme you have already been using, black and brown, change the color for when the link is visited to black and use brown for when the link is actually clicked. When it's visited, we need black and use brown for when the link is actually clicked. Like so, I guess. Nice. The menu text Camper Cafe has a different space from the top than the addresses space at the bottom of the menu. This is due to the browser having some default top margin for the H1 element. Change the top margin of the H1 element to 0 to remove all the top margin. Change the top margin of H1. Top margin to 0 to remove all the top margin. Oh, it's actually margin top. My bad. Margin top. Let's try that. To remove some of the vertical space between the H1 element and the text, estimate 2022. 2020, change the bottom margin of the H1 to 15 pixels. Bottom or margin bottom, whoops, margin bottom, 15 pixels. All right, cool. Now the top spacing looks good. The space below the address at the bottom of the menu is a little bigger than the space at the top. To decrease the default margin space below the address key element, create a class selector named address. So dot address, and we need 5 pixels for margin bottom. Bottom of 5 pixels, I guess. And then we got to add this class to the p element of footer. Wait, no, p address. So here, class equaling address. All right, beautiful. The menu looks good, but other than the coffee beans background image, it is mainly just text. Under the coffee heading, add an image using the URL. All right, so under the coffee, we just need to add this image. So that's with an img tag, src, equaling this URL. And then it needs an alt attribute equal to coffee icon. And then we need to just close that up. And look at that beautiful little coffee right there. The image you added is not centered horizontally like the coffee heading above it. Image elements are like inline elements. To make the image behave like heading elements, which are block level, create an image type selector and use the value block for display. So image display block. Block. There we go. And then use the applicable margin left and margin right to center it horizontally. I'll just do margin auto. Screw that. There we go. Nice. Add one last image under the desserts heading using the URL. Right. So we need another image. The image of source equaling this source. And then an alt of pie icon, just in case it doesn't show up. All right, and there's our beautiful pie. Sweet. It would be nice if the vertical space between the H2 elements and their associated icons was smaller. The H2 elements have default top and bottom margin space, so you could change the bottom margin of the H2 elements to say 0 or another number. There is an easier way. Simply put on a negative top margin to the image elements. All right, so margin top of negative. Usually I never use negative margins, but whatever. We'll go, what, negative 25 is what they want? Is that good? Yay, all right. Oh, finally, we did it. The next part is CSS color markers, but I'll do that in either a separate video or I'll come back later to do that one. So yeah, we did this cafe menu and we did all 92 little miniature problems. So that was it for that. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.